Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? Today we're tackling those tricky little phrases we call idioms. You know, the ones that can make you sound super fluent, but also leave you scratching your head if you take them too literally.
Well, that's part of what makes them so interesting, right?
Right, so let's not beat around the bush.
Beating around the bush. Perfect example. It basically means avoiding the main point. Maybe out of politeness, maybe because you just don't want to confront something head on.
Exactly. Sometimes, though, it's better to just break the ice and get right to it, don't you think? Like, imagine you're at some networking event all stiff and awkward. Wouldn't it be better to, I don't know, maybe crack a joke or something to kind of ease the tension?
Yeah, that's breaking the ice in action, creating a more relaxed vibe, just like literally breaking through a frozen surface.
Makes sense. So break the ice is all about getting things going smoothly. But what about when things go a little too smoothly? You know, like when you accidentally spill the beans? I've done that a few times, let a secret slip. Whoops.
Spill the beans. All about those unintended revelations, often with a little bit of embarrassment, maybe even a dash of mischief thrown in. Did you know the origin of that phrase might actually go all the way back to ancient Greece?
Really?
Yeah. They used beans for voting, and if you spilled the container well, all the votes would be out in the open, kind of like blurting out a secret.
Huh. Never thought of that. But sometimes you just need someone to hit the nail on the head to say exactly what needs to be said, no messing around.
Totally. Think of like a doctor who diagnoses you perfectly, or a coworker who offers a brilliant solution to a problem you've been stuck on. That's hitting the nail on the head, precise, accurate, no room for doubt.
It's like that feeling of finally understanding something perfectly. Speaking of feeling good, or maybe not so good, what about when you're feeling a little under the weather?
Under the weather. That's the classic way to say you're not feeling great without getting into too many details. It's like, I'm not quite myself today, you
Yeah.
know?
It's that perfect balance of acknowledging you're not 100% while still being polite. And then there are those times when things are more enjoyable than being under the weather, times when things are a piece of cake.
Yes, the sweet taste of victory. Piece of cake, meaning something super easy, effortless, like saying, I could do this with my eyes closed.
Exactly. It's that feeling of confidence, of being in control. Like when you ace a test or finish a project way ahead of schedule. Though, let's be real, sometimes that piece of cake feeling takes a little extra work, maybe even burning the midnight oil to get there.
That one paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? Back before electricity, people used oil lamps for light. So burning the midnight oil literally meant staying up late working by lamplight.
Wow, I never thought about it that way. It's fascinating how much history and culture is packed into these phrases. But speaking of pushing through challenges, sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and face things head on.
You got it. Bite the bullet is all about grit and determination. Even when things are unpleasant, it's about confronting the challenge, not running away.
Like going to the dentist, even though you're terrified, you just bite the bullet and get it over with.
Exactly. Showing resilience and courage. You know, it's said that soldiers in the past would actually bite down on a bullet during surgery to deal with the pain.
Wow, that's a powerful image. It really shows the strength and determination behind that idiom.
And that's what's so amazing about idioms. They pack so much meaning and history into just a few words.
It's like each phrase is a little story just waiting to be uncovered. And we've only just scratched the surface. We've got plenty more idioms to explore, so stay tuned for more linguistic adventures.
Back again for more idiom fun.
Yeah, no, it's wild how these phrases can really spice up our conversations.
It's true. It's like adding a little flavor to everyday language.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of spice, remember that article about regional idioms we were looking at?
Oh, yeah.
Some of those were pretty funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially that one, fixin' to...
From the South, right?
Yeah, like I'm fixin' to go to the store. It's just so charming.
It is.
Really shows how idioms can be different even within the same country.
It's true. Language is always changing, right? Adapting to different places and cultures.
Definitely makes things more interesting. But before we go too far off track,
Right.
let's get back to our list.
Okay.
We were talking about facing challenges head on, like biting the bullet. What other idioms kind of capture that same feeling?
Well, there's weather the storm. You know, that sense of enduring hardship and coming out stronger on the other side, like saying, we've been through tough times before, we'll get through this too.
It's a powerful image, like challenges are just temporary.
Yeah, like a passing storm.
Right, and that we
Yeah.
have the strength to withstand them. Sometimes, though, instead of just weathering the storm, you need to change your approach. That's where thinking outside the box comes in.
Yes. breaking free from conventional thinking,
Yeah.
finding creative solutions, like let's challenge the assumptions, see what other possibilities are out there.
It's that spark of ingenuity, that willingness to try something new. And sometimes that's all it takes to succeed. But success isn't always about big, dramatic actions. Sometimes it's those small, consistent efforts that add up, like slow and steady wins the race.
That's a good one. Reminds us that perseverance is key, just as important as talent.
Totally.
It's like the tortoise and the hare, right? Slow and steady wins in the end.
It is. It's a great reminder that you don't always need to rush. Sometimes the best approach is just consistent effort. Life isn't always a race, though. Sometimes it's about savoring the moment, appreciating what you have, like stopping to smell the roses.
That's a beautiful one, encouraging us to slow down, be present, enjoy the simple things like, let's pause for a moment, take in the beauty around us.
Right. It's a reminder to be mindful, not get so caught up in everything that you miss those little joys. But speaking of getting caught up, sometimes we focus on the details so much that we miss the bigger picture, like, not seeing the forest for the trees.
Ah, classic tunnel vision. You get so fixated on individual elements that you lose sight of the overall context. It's like saying, take a step back, consider the whole situation.
It's about perspective, understanding how everything connects. But sometimes you need a different kind of perspective, one that comes from experience, maybe even a little wisdom, like learning from your mistakes.
Absolutely. It's all about growth and resilience. Mistakes happen, it says, but they're also valuable learning opportunities.
It's about embracing those setbacks and using them to improve. But of course, not all mistakes are equal. Sometimes we just mess up, We jump the gun before we have all the information.
Oh yeah, jumping the gun, acting too quickly without thinking things through. Like saying, hold on, let's assess the situation before we do anything rash.
It's a reminder to be patient. Gather all the facts and then make a decision. Even with the best intentions, though, things don't always work out, and we end up right back where we started, back to square one.
That's a familiar feeling. A return to the beginning, often after a setback or maybe a failed attempt. It's like saying, all right, time to regroup, reassess, and try again.
It can be frustrating for sure,
Yeah.
but it's also a chance to learn, adapt. And that's what makes idioms so relatable, right? They capture those universal experiences, triumph, failure, resilience, everything.
They really do. They remind us that we're all in this together, navigating life and language. And hey, who knows, maybe someday we'll be the ones creating new idioms based on our own experiences.
Now that would be something. But for now, let's keep exploring these fascinating phrases. We've got a few more gems to uncover, so stick around for the final part of our idiom adventure.
Wow, it's really incredible how much meaning is packed into these simple phrases. These idioms. We've gone from breaking the ice all the way to thinking outside the box. Feels like we've covered a ton of ground.
Yeah, it's true. Idioms offer so much insight into culture and language. And the best part is there's always more to discover. It's a journey that never ends. Speaking of journeys, sometimes life throws a curveball, and you just gotta roll with the punches. Like in boxing, right?
Yeah.
You can't always predict what's coming, but you gotta adapt. Keep moving forward.
Exactly. Rolling with the punches is all about resilience, flexibility. You got to accept that things don't always go as planned, but you find a way through it.
It's like that saying, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. You gotta find the positive.
Exactly. And sometimes finding that positive means working together, like putting our heads together to solve a problem.
Teamwork. Strength in numbers.
Right. Putting our heads together means brainstorming, sharing ideas, working towards a common goal.
And sometimes all that collaboration leads to a breakthrough, when everything finally clicks.
Clicks. Such a satisfying word.
It is. It means things fall into place, understanding is achieved, like solving a puzzle.
It's that aha moment, the feeling of clarity. And speaking of clarity, sometimes you just got to cut to the chase, get to the heart of the matter.
Especially when time is short. Cut to the chase means be direct, be concise, skip the extra details.
Exactly. Prioritize efficiency and clarity. And sometimes being direct means giving honest feedback. Even if it's not what the other person wants to hear, that's where telling it like it is comes in.
Ooh, that can be tough. But sometimes honesty is the best policy, even if it's a little uncomfortable.
Right. Telling it like it is means being truthful and straightforward. Even if it means challenging someone's perspective, it's about offering genuine feedback, help them grow.
It's about those tough conversations. But with respect and compassion. And hey, not every conversation has to be serious. Sometimes you just gotta let your hair down and have some fun.
Letting our hair down,
Right.
relaxing, having a good time, letting go of inhibitions, like let's not take ourselves too seriously.
Embrace those moments of joy. This whole deep dive has been a blast, by the way. I feel like I've learned so much about idioms.
It's been a pleasure exploring with you, and I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to pay more attention to idioms in their own lives.
Me too. They're more than just quirky phrases. They're really a way to understand language and culture on a deeper level. So keep those ears open, stay curious, and let those conversations flow.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wonderful world of idioms. Until next time.